Hello everyone. So in this video I am going to solve this question which is asked in many front-end interviews. This question goes like implement async filter function. So the problem statement is implement a function that takes an array of input and async iteratee function and return a promise that resolved with the list of input of that has passed the test through the iterative function. The input will run in parallel, but the output will be in the same order as the original. So meaning I have written here already. So let's say we have this input and we have a function which will check that if the passed input is correct or not, filter it. So based on that filter, this function will filter, and based on that filter, it will return true or false for each of the input which is passed to this function. So let's say we passed 1 and it returned true, then we will store this input in the final result. Okay, and this function returns a promise that will resolve with values, with all these stored values. Okay, so the job of this function is basically to test each input, and we have to store the input which have passed the test. Okay, so for this we will first create a function, and name of the function will be async filter, and it will take two things. First is input array and function. Okay, correct. So what this will do is this will just return a new promise. This will return a promise, right? Resolve and reset. Okay. So yeah. So we need some variable to store the values, right? So we will create a variable final. Oops. Yeah. And counter to track the iterations so that we can resolve the promise when the iteration is completed. Correct. To process each of the input, I am going to use for each here, and this is our input and this is our index. We are going to use index to store the value inside the final according to the index. Right. So now we got the input, each input. Now we have to check if the input is correct or not. Then we will pass this input to this callback function, and this async function, and then this async function also takes a callback, and the first flag of this callback is the asynchronous function will accept an input and a callback. The callback function will be called when the input is finished processing. The first argument of the callback will be the error flag, and the second will be result. So first will be error and second will be result. But am I doing some mistake? Wait, I think I did some syntax error here. Error and result, right? So if it's error, then we are going to simply going to reject this promise with the error. And if it is result, and if result is true, that means the input which we have passed to this function is correct, and we need to store that input to this index. Yeah, so we are storing this. And now, as the processing of input is complete, then we need to increase the counter. Yeah. So for each of the input, it will process the input and increase the counter. And the moment will come if the when all the input is processed. Then for that we need to check if counter is greater than or equal to input dot length, which means all the input is processed. Then resolve the input, resolve the promise with the final result. So final result can have some empty values as well. So for that we need to filter this. So we can remove false values using this type of filter. Yeah, so I think this is completed. This will return a promise and this will store, and each input is being processed, and we are checking here, we are rejecting here, and uh, we are also saving the input. Yeah, this should work. So I have already written a test for this. So that, yeah, so this will work. Async filter. Yeah. So let's see if it's working or not. Yeah, I think it's being called somewhere else using 494. What? Yeah, sorry. I copy pasted two times, I guess. Yeah. So we are passing each input, and the input which is not valid, we are not storing that, right? So here we are checking that if input is 7, then it's not valid. First we are multiplying it and increasing it with 7, and we are not saving it. And then this is the function. Okay. So yeah, our function is working. So this was simple. We just have to return a promise and assign a variable and pass the input through the async function. And if the that completes the if it returns true, then we will store that input inside final and we will resolve it. Okay. I hope this video will help you in understanding this. If I did anything wrong or any suggestion, you can comment in the comment box. It will help me for learning as well. Thank you for watching.